Well, I want to welcome all of you NewGate seniors to our senior reflections today. Thank you for helping us out and for sharing your thoughts and your reflections with some of the parents that are out there in the world watching you, thinking, I wonder what my child would be like if they were graduating from a Montessori high school. So that's what we're going to do this morning. And let me just get us started with the very first question that I have for you. It starts with this. You've all been in Montessori schools from as many as 16 years to as few as 1 or 2 years. So what has been your most important takeaway from your Montessori experience?
I think my most important takeaway has to be knowing and having the ability to be my own person. So I've kind of learned how to be a person and kind of function, but also that I'm not the same as everybody else, and that you kind of need to know that instead of trying to adapt to some normality all the time.
Yeah. So thanks, Jacob, for getting us started. Somebody else want to answer that one? What's your...
Hi, Linda. I think that something I took away from it is that it's easier to talk to other people than I thought it was. I came from a public school and I found that very overwhelming. And then I came here and it was like so much easier to talk to people I didn't know. I didn't feel like pressured to have to be something. I don't know. It was nice. It was easier to make friends.
That's good. Thank you. Somebody else want to add? I see a head nodding over here and it's Mia. Mia, do you want to just add on to that or jump in there?
Sure. So I'm Mia. I also came from a public school, so it's Montessori school is more hands-on learning, one-on-one talk. So from going from public school to this school, it helped me learn a lot more than I did in public school. I wasn't as rushed as I was, and I wasn't as stressed to get more stuff done. We obviously did have deadlines, but it wasn't more stressful.
Somebody else want to talk a little bit about the COVID experience? Right in the middle of your high school.
I'm Bella, and I started after COVID when school was starting again. And it was definitely a different adjustment, even like coming back to school from having to learn at home and trying to balance friends and all that kind of stuff. And I think that for everyone, being back in class has helped.
Nice.
Us graduate better.
Yeah. So what brought you to Montessori? Was it something you were in the process of choosing, or did you have no idea that you would move to a new school? What was that? How was that experience? What was that?
So I actually went here in 6th grade and I switched to a Catholic school because my family was very religious and they really wanted me to do that. But once COVID hit, I was going to school an hour away. So doing online school and trying to see friends was basically impossible. And I really loved the way that I was taught in 6th grade here, and just kind of the environment and how every person had their own way of learning and it was accepted. And so when I came back here after COVID, I had a tough year kind of doing school online. And when I came back here, it really just helped me continue and grow and really fill in those gaps that I missed online.
One of the things that parents are somewhat concerned about when they are thinking about Montessori High School is usually Montessori schools, especially in the high school years, are very small. And they worry that Montessori won't offer enough in terms of friendships and social things. So what has been your experience in terms of that particular worry that often parents have? Linda, I see you have your hand up.
I feel like the fact that the class was so small made it easier for me to make friends that were different than I am because I feel like before that I was always in some kind of group that was everybody was like the same. So it's easier to make friends that are different than you, like people that you wouldn't expect, which is always nice to have different experience with different kinds of people. And I feel like we all got closer because the class was so small. So it made us easier to talk to each other, like have more of a chance to make more friends than being stuck with the same types of people all the time.
Sure. Thanks, Linda. That's good. Jacob, I see your hands up.
Yeah, so I feel similarly to Linda about how you kind of get into knowing people that aren't similar to you. I feel like the smaller classes have more so helped than diminished friendships because although I've been here so long, there's some people that have been here just as long as I have that I've been friends with since I was in primary. However, there's also people that have attended NewGate within the past couple of years that are just as good friends with me and the others just not, as much as they would have been if they were here forever ago. So I think it's really like I guess friendship and like bonds are a lot stronger because there's only like so few people, especially at NewGate. So it's more so that everyone's connected rather than looking at it as having so like quote unquote few options for friends. It's more so that you kind of are forced into a beneficial exposure.
Nice. Thanks, Jacob. Sarah, I see your hand is raised.
So like I always grew up going to like public schools, so coming here was like a huge change for me because I was never really good in like huge classes, especially with learning. So coming here, it like really helps me like learn better and like my thinking process and also like make really good friends, like Linda said, especially like being in a small class size really helps. So
Absolutely. Ryan, we haven't heard anything from you. Would you like to add something to this part of the conversation?
I'm Ryan, and I agree. Like I say, we're all pretty good friends. Like it's the small class lets people become pretty close with each other over time. Like we'll take classes together, so that over time it's built a pretty strong relationships. So like I'd say we're all pretty good friends. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a question for all of you. Thank you, Ryan. And that is, you have some folks in your class that I actually interviewed last week, another Ryan and Enzo. And they're in part of what we call our global campus. And so how has that been? What kind of an experience has that been for all of you in terms of having people in your classes who are not even here in Sarasota, Florida? Has that been a great experience? Has it been interesting? How has that functioned for all of you? And I'm gonna see. Oh, I have two people. Okay, I have Jacob and either Ryan or Bella. I'm not sure which one because there's only one hand. So Jacob, we'll let you go, and then we'll get to Ryan and Bella.
Okay, so for me, I think being with people who are on our global campus it's been interesting because you don't see the same people every day. Like they're somewhat excluded in terms of the fact that some of us come to school from 8 o'clock till 3:30 every single day, and we're always talking in the same classes. But there's lots of opportunities for involvement. So, for example, Ryan had come to our poetry out loud, and he put a lot of like effort into it. And even though some of us had been here kind of working through it a lot together, he kind of showed up and was like one of the stars of the show. And so it was very interesting and kind of fun just to see everyone like in awe over his like performance with that, and how it's not something you get to see every day. And there's just a lot of dedication from like the people that are online that are working just as hard as we are. Because although you may think, oh, they're going to school on Zoom, that's like easy. It's really not. And it kind of like when we get to see them in person, it shows us like kind of what they are actually doing and kind of how it's on the same level, if not maybe higher than what some of us are doing here.
Yeah, thank you, Jacob. Ryan and Bella, I don't know which one of you wants to talk.
I know that like the global campus, we got to do interviews for English class, and I found that super interesting because although we don't see them because they are online, we got to hear their stories and find out that like some of them live like Tanzania, like, and it's just like super interesting to get to talk to these people who are the same age as us, who have different experiences throughout life. So I found that the global campus is really cool, and it also expands our classroom. And when we get to like connect the classrooms, it's a really great experience.
Terrific. Thank you, Bella. Sam, do you have anything you'd like to add about that, or anything else you have on your mind?
Yeah, my name is Sam. I definitely think that the global campus students are kind of mysterious, and they're kind of like a legend. So sometimes they've come and visited the campus, and it's always so exciting when they do, because we all come out and get to greet them, and it's like they're actually here in person, which it doesn't feel like they're disconnected. It just feels like they're in another classroom far away. So, but it's cool when they get to come in and we actually get to meet them. They get to sit in our classes and all that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we talked a little bit about making friends. What kinds of social interactions do you have? Like, I know a lot of students who are in Montessori schools do things outside of school to sort of fill in the gaps with social interaction. Mia, do you have your hand up?
Yeah. Are you talking about like friends from another school type thing?
Sure, if that's how you kind of filled in some of your friendships during your time at NewGate.
So I met all of my best friends through public middle school, and when I was going to NewGate and they were going to a public high school, it was a little hard just because I wasn't seeing them every day, but we always stayed in contact. We text like every day, we FaceTime, we even go out for dinner sometimes or lunch. I got to go to their prom this year because unfortunately NewGate doesn't have a prom, but it was really fun. I got to hang out with all of my old friends, and I still do keep in contact with them, and I am going to college with them too.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay. Thank you, Mia. Anybody else want to share about friendships and social kinds of things? Bella.
I've found a lot of like my friends through playing sports and also through my job. And I just find that like getting out there and meeting new people, it's my favorite thing. I love to just talk to random people. So me working in like the mall, I've made so many like random friends that have just come in. And I think that's one thing that Montessori school has taught me is like to not be afraid of who I am and to just go for it. And I've created so many friends and like best friends that I've had forever because of just staying in contact and everybody being who they are and stuff like that.
Nice. How has Montessori education specifically prepared you for life, for adult life, for young adult life, for the world out there? Anybody want to jump into that one?
In August, I'm moving to North Carolina to go to High Point University. And I feel like Montessori has really prepared me to move and be on my own and experience this college time, because throughout going to Montessori, we have these structured classes, but we also have a lot of time where we're working individually and we have to make a plan for ourselves to make sure our work is done on time. So I feel like once I go to college, I have the tools I need to succeed and to fully get my work done and stay focused and study.
Okay, thank you. Somebody else want to join in? Jacob, we'll put you in now.
All right, so I feel like a little similar to the last question, like Montessori has kind of like in school has given opportunities to, even though we follow a different curriculum and structure, we still do things like through from 8th through 11th grade, I was taking the PSAT in school and then encouraged to take, although not required by many like universities, the SATs. And so that was kind of a thing that was not enforced, but it was recommended to do. And one of the things that is useful for applying to college. And so I'm heading off to University of Florida next year. And I plan to work in marine sciences. And I was kind of able to do that because I had opportunities from my other high school years in which I worked at the local aquarium due to freedom in my in-school schedule. So I would be able to leave school early on some days in order to go help out over there and kind of do some research in the field and work in all these sorts of areas that I may not have been able to do if I was in a different class structure.
So one thing I'm hearing is that Montessori has taught you to be responsible for yourself, to be accountable for your assignments and the things you need to do. Another thing is it's given you some real life time for real life experiences. I know that often in high school and even middle school, I think, you do internships during the school year. Would somebody just tell our audience about what they are, what is an internship? How does it work? What was your part in figuring out what your internship would be? Somebody want to talk about that? Okay, Ryan.
Yeah, hi. Well, usually the way internships go, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. Usually they would go as there are a week during the year where we would go and work with a local business or organization to help out and gain some learning experience from them. Like very recently, I did mine with a fine dining establishment called Michael's on East. It was a very unique experience where I honestly learned some pretty cool stuff. Like,
anybody else want to add to the internship conversation? Sometimes from internships, you learn that it's not what you want to do, rather than it is what you want to do. Did any of you have that kind of experience on an internship?
Well, my internship was like a little different. I actually got to see a open heart surgery. I mean, it is what I want to do, but it kind of took like a lot in me to actually look at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of nervous.
I bet.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
it was a good experience.
And what will you be doing next year in September, let's say?
I'm going to be going into the surgical program at MTC. So
great. All right. Somebody else want to talk about internships? How did you get your internship? Did the teachers set it up for you? Did you have to participate in the setting up of the internship at all? Yes, Mia.
So in our English class, we got taught to send out a professional email to whoever we wanted to go for. For example, I went to an assisted living place to work with a salesperson and see what they did. And I had to send a professional email to the person I was interning. And she looked at it, she responded, and she was great about it. The teachers helped us with that, but they didn't technically do it for us. They just taught us how to do it. So it was really cool.
Thanks, Mia. Linda, haven't heard from you in a few minutes. Have you done any internships since you've been at NewGate?
Yeah, I've done 2 internships. My most recent one, I learned about like realty and stuff. And before I went to SRQ magazine, I guess what I learned most from was SRQ magazine. I learned I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, it
It
happens.
was interesting, but I don't like writing that much.
Robert, I'm going to ask you about your internships.
I kind of learned about engineering.
Okay. Is that something you're interested in, or you've decided you're not interested in?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty interested in it. Well, next year I'm probably gonna go to college for business marketing,
Okay.
but I just thought it'd be interesting to learn about like what engineering is, like that.
Terrific. Thank you. All right. So things you've learned, or how has Montessori prepared you for life? Accountability, responsibility, independence, some experiences with real life situations in terms of jobs and things like that. Thank you. What are some of the core values? What are some of the life values, if you will, that you have gained or maybe have reinforced through your Montessori education? Linda, did you have your hand up or no? No, okay. Mia again, and then we'll go to Jacob.
So what I've learned throughout the 4 years that I've been here is that I've gained a lot more of social skills and being more upfront, like with presentations throughout middle school. I would have so much anxiety during presentations, and it was really bad to the point where I couldn't do it. So throughout these 4 years, I've learned to be more confident in myself with talking up front or in front of like over 20 people, and it's helped me a lot. Was that what you were kind of?
Yeah. Confidence is a value. It's a characteristic that you've gained. That's the kind of thing that I was hoping someone would say. So let's see, someone else. What else? What kind of, oh, Jacob, you wanted to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say another thing that I feel like is kind of a focus and a core value of Montessori is making sure you're passionate about what you're doing and that you're interested in it. Because you don't want to be like we're talking about how internships showed us what is and is not what we want to pursue in the rest of our life. I feel like knowing what you're into and kind of incorporating that into whatever you're working on is beneficial and a big part of Montessori as a whole.
So I hear knowing yourself. I also hear being comfortable with who you are and what you have to offer in terms, and not be shy or anxious about that. I think I'm going to ask each one of you to answer this one, so be thinking. Let's go to Sam. Sam, can you tell me a value or a characteristic that you feel like you gained or was enhanced by your Montessori experience?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a huge contrast of both community and independence. Kind of have to be really independent and self-discipline to crack down on assignments. But there's a sense of community where we do a lot of activities all together, and we're also we've cooked together and we're doing activities outside and nature walks. But we're also sharing a campus with the younger kids, which means some activities are shared with them as well. So it's kind of like there's two worlds and they collide. So it has both.
All right. So relationships are very important, and building community, but also being independent and getting things done, self-directed, I think you said.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Let's go to Ryan. What do you think is a value or a characteristic that Montessori encourages?
Yeah, like Sam said, independence, I think, is a pretty big one. Like, we would receive lots of assignments, but we could each find our own way to do it. Like, I honestly did a lot of presentations over my time here, and I feel like that independence has really helped me like get out there, like make like the best stuff I could make. And honestly, I'm do that stuff way better now. So I really couldn't have done it without that freedom.
Yeah, that's terrific. Building on that, some people feel like Montessori allows children or students too much independence, and even sometimes forces them to be independent when they maybe do need some support or a lesson before, you need to know sort of how to do something before you can actually be independent and do it, right? And so have you felt like it was independence in a way that was unsupported, or do you feel like it was independence with support when needed? And Linda, you've got your hand up, so let's see what you have to say.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the time, like when we needed help, it was always provided. Like if we were doing a project that we didn't understand and we'd have help if we asked, like we had support the whole time if we needed it. Like if we didn't ask, we could do things ourselves, but we were never just thrown out on our own to figure something out without any explanation, which is always helpful.
So maybe building sort of an interdependence,
Yeah.
You knew that you could do things, you can make choices, but also you knew that if you needed some support or some help in some way, you could ask for it and it would be available to you. Is that, I see heads nodding. Okay. All right. Robert.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Linda. Go ahead. Finish. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was gonna add on that I felt like it was nice that we were never put down if we needed help or something. That was it.
Oh, that's good though. Thank you for adding that in, because, all right. Robert, I'm going to ask you if you have a value or a characteristic that you think Montessori has helped you to gain or to get better at.
Yeah, I think Montessori helped me to get better at like working alone. Being more individual with work, learning how to ask questions so I can work alone and like don't need the help of others to finish my work. It's basically that.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the next one. We're getting there, everyone. We're almost through. How would you describe your relationship with your teachers and other staff members at Montessori school? Oh boy, Ryan's got his hand up, and then we'll go to Mia.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the relationship would depend on the teacher. Like, I feel like we have a good relationship with a lot of our teachers here. Of course, we have Mr. Jeff. We all love Jeff. Mr. Alfonso, Miss Haley. We have lots of teachers that we really look up to, and they're always there to help when we need it.
Nice. So it sounds like it's a pretty comfortable relationship.
Yeah, of course. Like, you could always go to them if you need help or anything, but they're still your teachers, so so it's not really like a friend experience, but it's like somebody you could always go to for help if you need it.
Nice. Mia? Thank you, Ryan.
So I'm just gonna go off of Ryan because he technically said what I was thinking, but it's a very comfortable relationship. We do call teachers by their first name, so it's a lot more kind of like, I'm not gonna say best friend thing, but it's really comfortable talking to a teacher. Like you can have joking conversations with them, and it's just more comfortable than a regular public school teacher. Because personally, when I would have talked in middle school to a teacher, it was kind of more anxious conversation. But now I can easily talk to one of our teachers like Jeff, Haley, Caitlin. They're all so supportive and so understanding.
Nice, nice. So thank you, Mia. So do you think that your relationship with your Montessori teachers, being comfortable, knowing that they will support you if you need help, has helped you have a different idea about communicating with adults? So in other words, as you go into the adult world, do you think you will feel more comfortable saying what you think, sharing your ideas, asking for help if you need it, going to a professor or going to your boss or going to someone? Do you think you'll feel more comfortable with that than you would have if you hadn't gone to Montessori school? Anybody want to answer that one? I'm gonna go to Jacob.
I feel like one thing that kind of having this sort of relationship with like teachers has showed us that like in a work environment, honestly, although somebody may be your superior or your supervisor or just a coworker, everybody is still like they're another person. They're not like some like robot that's just there to kind of give jobs. You're more so like being directed, although they're still another person and still have like a life outside of the same thing you're doing. So I feel like it shows that you don't necessarily need, although you need to be formal and things like that in a workplace, you can still understand that like everybody has more to them than just do A, B, and C.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. One last sort of thought that you have or experience that you've had that will help parents to maybe choose Montessori High School for their children. Okay. So have a second to think, and then Mia, you're going to start us right off on that one. Thank you.
Okay. So none of us really brought up our research trips that we take every year.
Yep.
I think it's probably one of our biggest social type thing.
Yeah.
And we get to go off and explore new cultures, more history. This year we went to New Orleans. It was a lot of fun. We got to more interactions with people and the history. We got to go on a nice boat. It was really fun. And I think it's one of our biggest social things, and it's a lot of fun to experience those.
Who plans that, Mia? Who
So,
plans the research trips? That's
Jeff. Jeff usually does. But from past couple of years, students would chip in and talk about it. We always have a meeting about it to kind of see where we want to go. This year we were kind of in the middle between of New Orleans and New York. I think we talked about it. Most of us agreed on New Orleans, and we did some research on like Hurricane Katrina. We went to the Hurricane Katrina Museum. We did a lot of research about New Orleans, and then we went there.
Robert, you're on the spot now.
Yeah, I guess this is a pretty the community in the school is really close.
Okay, so that's a good reason for them to want a Montessori High School, right? I think so. All right, we'll go up to Ryan and Bella.
Yeah, like Robert said, we're a pretty tight-knit community, teachers and students alike. We work together to help achieve good education for all of us. We do a lot of neat things that really helps bring us closer and teach us a lot of things. So, yeah.
Terrific. Thank you. Bella?
another thing that I want to add is kind of like how our school is our grades are kind of, we all can talk to each other and see each other. And I've made so many great friends with people that are in like second cycle, and just younger than us because of how like tight our community is and how everybody can just talk in the confidence to talk to each other and just go around the school. I feel like it's really special.
Yeah, yeah. Sarah, I'm going to go back to you again and see if we can get 2 words out of you, or maybe 3.
Sorry, it's just because I'm outside.
I know.
Yeah, I think Montessori did change me like a lot, especially like coming here, because I was never used to like, I mean, small like classrooms and like a small school like this. So it really helped me be like independent and like have more confidence in myself.
I want to thank all of you for taking some time this morning. I know you really want to get back to cleaning up the campus now that we're done. I wish you the best. I will see all of you at the recognition dinner and also at graduation. So congratulations to all of you. Thanks for coming. Goodbye for now.